the impact we were having. And as veterans racked up tours, I realized that we had not invested enough effort in diagnosing the nuanced conditions which made AQI so resilient. The more I pored over our situation, the clearer the solution became, however surprising it was. Aspects of JSOC which had previously made us so unrivaled, our structure, equipment, doctrine, and culture, were the very things constraining us. We were trapped in a cage of our own making. We believed ourselves to be tactically flexible, so much so that we stopped questioning whether our actions, or the nation's broader strategy, were correct. In uncharted waters, my team and I endeavored to reimagine both JSOC's role in the war effort and its place in American foreign policy. Our saga in Iraq spotlights a larger problem endemic not only to JSOC, but to the entire Western world. Our culture does not force leaders to reckon with the intersection of strategy and adaptability. This is in part due to our incredible privilege. AQI had to constantly recalibrate simply to remain alive. While America has absolutely faced terror and trauma, we remain a global superpower. We have, for too long, expected the world to play by our rules. In so doing, we failed to ask ourselves what would happen if those rules were incompatible with reality. Paradoxically, America seems to remain fearful of strategic adaptability in any setting. We are wedded to the notion that we shouldn't change a policy until it has failed, unwilling to ask ourselves how we can do better. Clinging to the status quo is, in the short term, an easy course of action, but it is also a dangerous one. The world is changing faster now than ever before, and unsurprisingly, new styles of leadership will become more important than ever. We can no longer rely on the flexible iconoclast or the by-the-book manager alone. We must combine outside-the-box and ordered thinking. This kind of hybrid leadership will be necessary not only for success in warfare, but in other worlds as well. Leaders must seek to prevent crises, not simply wait for them to happen. As we learned in Iraq, consciously sacrificing long-term strategy for short-term certainty is both unwise and unsustainable. We were lucky that, despite being on our heels, JSOC was able to withstand so many blows before we recognized the need to reinvent ourselves. Some organizations aren't so lucky. Just look at the slew of businesses who were slow to react to the rise of Amazon. However, the question remains, how do we create these strategically adaptable leaders in a world afraid of change? The first step is to identify our cultural problem, as we did in Iraq, and as Sean McFate expertly does in this book. As he so aptly reports, military leaders must combine a level of elasticity and big-picture thinking when confronted with new styles of conflict. Accordingly, we must come to terms with the fact that following yesterday's rules of war will not lead to today's or tomorrow's successes. That awareness alone can save lives. We must begin to grapple with the consequences of the new rules of war. If not, we will all be left behind. General Stanley McChrystal, retired. Strategic atrophy. Why has America stopped winning wars? On June 5, 1944, the day before D-Day, General George S. Patton strode onto a makeshift stage in southern England to address thousands of American soldiers. "Americans play to win all of the time," said Patton. "That's why Americans have never lost, nor will ever lose, a war, for the very idea of losing is hateful to an American." Since then, the American military has experienced nothing but loss. Korea is an ongoing stalemate. Vietnam turned communist. The wars in Iraq and Afghanistan have failed too. ISIS destroyed vast swaths of Iraq, and Iran has its tentacles in Baghdad. The Taliban controls more of Afghanistan than the local government does. Wars since 1945 have squandered American blood, wasted trillions of tax dollars, and damaged